The Utah Jazz Summer League has concluded.
And here's Filipowski inside on Ingram going baseline. Oh, wow. Go-ahead bucket with 9 seconds to go.
Jazz Smack, NBA and Utah Jazz basketball.
So that was a terrific play by Kyle Filipowski to put the Jazz ahead late in that San Antonio, Utah Summer League game in Las Vegas. That was an absolutely spectacular spin move back to the center after he got cut off on the baseline and to put it in with the right hand. That's what we love to see. So let's look at a few more clips and also some data from the Summer League to see where the Jazz exactly stand in terms of statistics. Now, we all know that statistics, especially when it comes to Summer League, can be very deceiving, but it's nevertheless interesting to look at those statistics. So let's look at a couple more clips quickly from Cody Williams, because Kyle is not the only one that played really well in the Summer League in terms of the data that he put up. And both Kyle and Cody were among the leading scorers in Summer League, with Kyle being the number one overall leading scorer in the entire Las Vegas Summer League by a wide margin. And he did that on very good efficiency, both from the field overall and from the three-point line. So let's look at a couple clips from Cody, and we will go from there. So this is where Cody gets a nice three from up top.
On the other end.
Really easily puts it in. Simple stroke. We saw him play with so much more confidence in this Summer League than the last one. Let's take another look at another one where he makes a three from the left corner.
Dunk that has been blown by the Bulls, or else Kyle Morris' stat line would be.
Again, really easy shot. Simple, smooth. It looks better, and his strength is certainly helping. Now, I'm still not in love with the way he sets up for his shot and his shooting mechanics, and there needs to be some work with that with Cody specifically, because his setup sometimes with his footwork, and he comes up really off, and he just needs to set up better, and it's a bit slow right now. So he has some things to work on. We know that he's looking to gain strength, and his body certainly looks better. Both he and Kyle look better, and Kyle certainly has more definition than he did. I mean, he certainly looks stronger, and the same goes for Cody. Cody, obviously, I think that he's going to gain even more weight before the training camp starts for the upcoming 25-26 season. I think he'll look better then than he looks now, but he certainly looks better now than he did at the end of the regular season. So much progress has been made with regard to Cody Williams and the data that he's putting up. So overall, I watched several of the games in person in Vegas, and my takeaway is the guys do look better physically. I noticed that was obvious when you're sitting close to the players, close to the bench. You can see them in person. They certainly look better physically. Now, both of them still have a ways to go, and they still need to work on that, but they both look better physically, and especially, obviously, Cody with the weight. I mean, yes, he gained 20 pounds, but he still needs to gain another 15 or 20, somewhere in that range, to get him to a place where he is strong enough to withstand the wear and tear that he's going to need to be able to withstand if he's going to play 30 minutes a night in 82 games. I mean, that's obvious. But, I mean, at least that he recognized what he needs to do, and he's actually attempting to correct the the downfalls that he experienced last season. And I think there are all sorts of positives. I mean, let's face it, there were many people that were criticizing him heavily at the end of last season, that he was one of the worst players to ever play for the Jazz as a rookie, and his statistics kind of bared that out. That was obviously true from a statistical standpoint. But going into it, Cody was going to be a project, and he was going to be a multi-year project, and I think he's on track to be that. Yeah, I don't think that he is. I don't think there's any great cause for alarm at this point, in terms of he won't be a player in the future. I think the jury's still out on that. Obviously, he has a ton of work to put in still, but for right now, I think it still looks there are some positives. There are some real positives we can take from this summer league specifically, and hopefully that translates to the regular season this next season. So let's look at some data from the summer league itself for the Utah Jazz, and this is talking specifically about Las Vegas. So we all know that unfortunately Ace was not able to play in Las Vegas, and Walt only played one game, and Tanjay only played 2 games. So our rookies did not get a whole lot of summer league experience. But the second year players got a ton of experience, and this is what we're going to focus on primarily with these statistics. So if we look at Kyle Filipowski here on this spreadsheet, where we're looking at just the summer league data for Las Vegas, Kyle averaged 29.3 points per game. That is the overall leader in all of summer league, not just the Jazz leader. He is the overall points leader in all of summer league, and he is the overall points leader in all of summer league by a wide margin. Number 2 on this list is Drew Timme with Brooklyn at 25.3. So Kyle is leading by a huge margin on those points per game. And not only is he leading in points per game, but his efficiency is excellent. I mean, he shot the ball really well in Vegas. His overall field percentage was 56.1% on 19 field goal attempts per game. I mean, that's terrific. And obviously he got a lot of paint points in the summer league, where he doesn't have to deal with the size and strength and athleticism that he does in the regular NBA season. But still, the 56.1, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better number from Kyle Filipowski in this area than that. And he also shot 39.1% from 3, which is terrific. That's awesome. Now, and he took 7.7 attempts per game, so it's not like he was taking 1 or 2 attempts per game from 3. He was taking almost 8 in the 3 games that he played for 39.1. Awesome number. All those numbers are terrific. Now, on the downside, one of the comments that I made during the Utah Summer League, the Salt Lake City Summer League, was how well he was shooting free throws. And I made the comment that I thought those rims at the Huntsman Center at the University of Utah sounded really loose. And let's see what happens when he moves away from the Huntsman Center and see how his free throws are. Now, obviously, he went to Vegas. His free throw shooting was not particularly good again. He shot 8 attempts per game and 62.5%. That's a lot different than how he shot it in the Utah Summer in Salt Lake, because in that summer league, he shot free throws really well. So let's hope that Salt Lake Summer League translates over to the regular season rather than more of the same of this 62.5% free throw shooting. Because 62.5%, Kyle is certainly a more capable shooter than that. I mean, I know that Kyle can at least shoot in the mid-70s, and with his mechanics, I think that he can truly get to 80%. But obviously that's going to take some time, and he's been working on a number of different areas of his game. And, I think the shooting will come along just based on his mechanics alone and his willingness to work at it and his competitiveness. He's obviously very invested in becoming a better basketball player. I think he's worked really hard since the regular season ended, and he stayed in Salt Lake and worked on his body, and a bunch of the younger guys have stayed in Salt Lake, and they're all working out together. I mean, Cody was there, Keontae was there. There's just a group of guys who've been working hard. So I commend all those guys for that. They've done a fantastic job since the season ended. But the one really interesting thing about Kyle was during I think it was like the halftime intermission of one of those summer league games that he played in, and he was being interviewed. And he specifically said, he brought this up, and he specifically said, the thing that I need to improve, and this is how he phrased it roughly, the thing that I really need to improve is I can't be a liability on defense. He actually said that. And one of my big things is always, you can't correct a problem until you actually recognize the problem. And that comment alone from Kyle Filipowski recognizes that there is an actual problem, a significant problem. And for him to bring that up on his own and state that on TV, on ESPN, in front of everybody, that's great recognition. And in most cases, I could care less what players say. They talk, and you just don't even care. You don't even listen to it. And you just throw it out, because whatever they say and what they do are completely different things. And usually they don't recognize what actually is, what's reality. But in this case, Kyle did. And this is one of the few times I can remember where a player said something and it's like, wow, that's actually meaningful. He recognizes the problem. That's the first step to making something better. Recognizing the actual problem. So he can't be a liability on defense. That's wonderful. So overall, the other numbers with Kyle, the offensive rebounds in Vegas, he got 1.3 a game, defensive rebounds 6.3, so he averaged 7.7 rebounds a game. And again, he's playing 29 minutes a game in those 3 games in Vegas on average, and 2.3 assists and 2.3 turnovers. That's obviously not great, but again, it is summer league. We know Kyle's a skilled passer. That's one of his strengths on offense last year. So I expect that to carry forward. And to expect a really big assist to turnover margin from like a power forward, which I think Kyle is. I think that's his natural position. I think that's asking too much. Even Carl, when in his heyday, his assist to turnover ratio wasn't wonderful. So for Kyle to be plus in the assist to turnover, hopefully he gets to 2-1. But obviously we're not looking 3-1. We're not looking at point guard assist to turnover. So in summer league 1-1. I think that's adequate. That's good. So Kyle had a fantastic summer league. And obviously when the all summer league team comes out, he's going to be first team. Obviously the Jazz didn't do well in the Las Vegas Summer League, so I highly doubt that he gets MVP, but he certainly should make first team with those offensive numbers that he put up, with the efficiency, with the leading the Summer League in scoring by far. He should certainly be first team all Las Vegas Summer League. So, obviously that's somewhat meaningless designation award as well, but at least he'll get some recognition. So let's move on to Cody's statistics. Cody averaged 32 minutes a game, 20.4 points on 16.4 attempts per game, and he played in all 5 of the Jazz Summer League games in Las Vegas. So he's the one player plus Elijah of like the Jazz somewhat rotation guys that played all 5 games in Vegas. But Cody shot 46% from the field overall and 34% from 3. And considering how Cody ended last year, I think both those numbers are really positive. And he took nearly 8 3-pointers a game. So nearly half his field goal attempts were threes, and he shot 34.2%. I mean, neither one of those numbers is spectacular, but considering last year, I think it's certainly a positive step in the right direction. I couldn't be happier with the way that it's gone for Cody specifically with the improvement. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for improvement, and he certainly showed significant improvement. And like I said, there's still some shot things, some balance things, some footwork things on his shot, so he can get it up quicker and he can get it up without shooting air balls when he's rushed like he has a tendency to do. But I think that, he's moving in the right direction, and that's really the most important thing. Now, he also averaged 4.4 rebounds a game, and that's not a great number, but it's not a bad number, especially if he ends up playing the 2, which I wish he would. I like Cody's length at the 2, and ultimately that would be my preference, to see Jazz have plus size at pretty much every position, especially that 2 guard. And Cody's length with his arm length and his height at 6'7" to 6'8". I mean, I think the 2 guard spot would be an ideal place for him to end up, and hopefully that's what happens. If he gets his weight up to 215, 220, and he can play the 2 guard at that height with that arm reach, I mean, that gives the Jazz a definite advantage, on the perimeter, and being able to get their hands in the passing lanes and those type of things. So I was really impressed with what Cody did. He also averaged 2.8 assists, 2.2 turnovers, but he also averaged 2.2 steals, which is a really nice number. In 32 minutes a game, he led the team in minutes per game. So awesome summer league for Cody as well. Great step in the right direction. Now, the third person, Isaiah Collier, he played in 4 of the 5 games. And in terms of running the team, I thought he did an admirable job. His assist to turnover was close to 2-1. He averaged 7 assists per game, and that 7 assists per game was 3rd in all of Las Vegas Summer League in assists per game average. So that's a real positive. But still, the main issue with Isaiah is, I mean, we've seen some questionable decision making with when to drive to the basket and when not to. He needs to be a little bit more selective, and he certainly was better in the Vegas Summer League than he was in the Utah Summer League, because that one game in the Utah Summer League was a disaster. But he was certainly better overall in Vegas with his decision making on when to drive to the basket and when to attack the paint. So he did a better job of that. And the 7 assists demonstrates that against the 3.8 turnovers. But still, the issue with Isaiah is, we all know it. It's the shooting. And in my opinion, and I haven't seen him recognize this yet and acknowledge this, and like I said with Kyle, this first step to correcting something that's clearly fundamentally wrong is recognizing the issue. And I haven't seen Collier say this yet, but he just needs to tweak his mechanics. Like, he's got to do that. He's got to tweak the way his release and the way he sets up for the shots. It's just, he has to be better. The repetition of something that's wrong is not going to correct the problem. So he has to do something better with that. I mean, he shot 41.2% from the field overall in Las Vegas on 12.8 attempts per game. But The 3-point attempts, he attempted 4 per game at 31.3%. So clearly, Isaiah has to become a better shooter. That's the number one, more so than anything. We know that he can offer defensive pressure on the perimeter. He has the body for that. He has the foot speed for that. He can slide his feet well enough on defense to do that, so he can pressure the ball and be physical with the opposing guards. I mean, we need somebody like that, but he has to become a better shooter. He must. There's going to be no long-term place in the NBA for him as a big minute player if he shoots it so poorly. I mean, it's just not feasible. So we'll see what happens. Like, I hope that between now and the start of fall camp, that we see some sort of improvement in the way he shoots the ball. Obviously, that hasn't taken place from the end of this past season to the start of Summer League. So I'm hoping to see improvement in that area prior to fall camp beginning. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll be able to see as soon as preseason starts, we'll see, has he changed anything, or if it's just the same thing over and over again. So let's go on to Walt. So Walter Clayton Jr. played only one game in Las Vegas before he pulled up with that hamstring issue. And as I was sitting in the arena watching that game, it was obvious there was something wrong before that game ever ended. And they said there were things. I mean, I could see it in the arena. I could see him over there on the bench, and I think he went back into the locker room, clutching that hamstring. So obviously, I don't think, obviously he has a long time to get that better and to correct that between now and the start of fall camp. So I don't foresee any big issues with that going forward. But it would have been obviously nice to see him play in more games in Las Vegas than just one. So it's disappointing. But in that one game that he played 27 minutes. He shot 8 for 17 from the field overall for 47.1%. Shot 4 for 10 from 3 for 40%. He only shot 1 for 2 from free throw line, but he got 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and scored 21 points. So I think also Walt had a nice summer league overall. Now we have to take those Salt Lake Summer League games into account when talking about Walt, because he played more there than he did in Vegas, obviously. So overall, I think this was good for Walt to get his feet wet. Get his feet wet on the NBA level with multiple games, and I think that's the most important thing for the rookies, just to get some actual court time in an NBA style, with NBA referees who are also obviously, not full-time referees at this point, but the officiating is somewhat similar to what you'll experience with regular NBA officiating. And also the physicality of the game and those type of things it's a step between college and what you will see in the regular season NBA. But at least he got to experience that. And even when he wasn't playing, he's obviously on the bench. He's on the bench with Ace and Tonje as well. So all those guys have been around the team. They've been around the guys, and they got to experience it in a meaningful way, somewhat meaningful. Ace, not so much, because he only played 2 games overall. But overall, with the way Walt did it, I think that he played well enough, and he got some experience. I think it was a good summer league for him as well. And Tonje, like that first game that he played, after sitting out all that time, and he comes back in Vegas and he plays a game and he shoots it. He starts off shooting. He made his first 2 threes. He shot the ball really well. And I go, wow, this is really positive. But then on the next game, it's like, wow, this isn't so positive. So he had 2 drastically different types of outcomes through the 2 games that he did play, but at least he played a couple of games. Again, like just getting your feet wet in the NBA environment, on court time, with some NBA officiating, just like with Walt and Ace. I think that's the most important thing for a rookie. So I anticipate certainly John Tonje getting a roster spot this coming season. I don't think the Jazz drafted him to place him simply in to cut him or just have him in the G League the entire year. I mean, I don't think he's good. He's obviously going to play in the G League, and most of his time is going to be in the G League, I would anticipate. But he will get an opportunity with the Jazz, with the full-time, with the main club, with the main team, with the main NBA franchise in this coming season. But it wasn't in terms of numbers, it wasn't great for him. In the 2 games, he averaged 23 minutes a game. He scored 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting for 33% from the field, 30% from 3, 67% from the line, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. So he didn't put up great numbers, but again, that's not the point. The point is that he actually got some playing time. And the final one is Elijah, because Elijah did play all 5 games, and he played a lot of minutes at 26 minutes, and he actually took quite a few shots at 9.8 field goal attempts per game. But again, Elijah is the best perimeter defender on the team. He's the most aggressive. He moves his feet well. He really gets up into people. But boy, good grief. The offense needs to improve. He just can't play at 100 miles per hour all the time. I mean, he's going 100 whether he's in a 80 mile per hour zone on I-80 somewhere, or if he's in a 20 mile per hour, school zone on a side street. He's still doing 100. He's just going 100 all the time. It's like he drank 2 Red Bulls before each of these summer league games started, and he's just so hyped up, man. The guy, I know the Jazz are talking about this 0.5 second decision making, but Elijah Harkless, if he's going to make it, the guy just got to slow down. He has to slow down on the offensive end. He just can't be going this fast all the time. I mean, just slow down, calm down. That would be my only advice for him, because the guy shot 26% from the field, 15% from 3. I know he's a better shooter than that, actually. I think he can shoot a lot better than that, considerably better than that. But the dude just needs to take it easy. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the Vegas Summer League after spending several days there watching games, and also watching the games on ESPN Plus. The one thing I will say about ESPN Plus, which is really disappointing concerning the Summer League, is for whatever reason they don't archive the games for a month or so. So they have all these games on ESPN Plus, but I can't even pull them up to watch them all. And there's no way I can watch 8 games a day or something. That's not feasible. So ESPN Plus, if anybody from ESPN Plus sees this, I mean, please archive the games for a month, so that those of us who actually want to watch the games, and actually even want to rewatch the games, we have something to rewatch where we can watch the entire game, rather than go through and watch these highlight clips on YouTube, which are not nearly as helpful as watching the actual full games on ESPN Plus. So please, ESPN, fix that. Archive the games. Leave them up for a month, so that those of us who want to watch all the games, or at least want to go through all the games, have the ability to do that, rather than having them up for 48 hours and then they're just off the site. So that's my comment about ESPN Plus and the way they cover Summer League. It's very disappointing. It's really frustrating, to be honest. But anyway, at least all the games, all the Jazz games, we all got to see all those, hopefully, even if we can't rewatch them. But anyway, that's it from Summer League for for us, and we hope that everybody has a great day. And please follow along on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. And on X, you can follow us at Jazz Smack. And we will talk to everybody later.